Hi everyone and welcome to 15 Rounds of Flambé. Aaron Johnson here alongside Matthew Johnson. We are your hashtag Flambé No Fire hosts here. I thought that was original. Come on, that's original.
I mean, that's originally bad, but it's original.
Okay, originally bad. All right.
With our first topic of discussion, Tom Brady's Deflategate appeal was denied by a U.S. Circuit Court today. That means he's going to have to serve his 4-game suspension given to him by the NFL today. And what do you think about this as a Jets fan?
Well, first of all, as a Jet fan, I like to write this day down, July 13th, 2016, as a great day in our history. As a actual
the best day in your history in over 40 years.
Yeah, I said one of the best. I hate Tom Brady. For all you guys that don't know out there, I am president of the I Hate Tom Brady fan club. I do, as a football fan, realize that he's probably the greatest quarterback of all time. But he beats us about 2 or 3 times a year, at least twice a year. At least, as I said, well,
yeah, I mean, at least.
It's been a long, and then Mo Lewis, and yeah, I hate Tom Brady. But the one thing I think about this is that although the Deflategate scandal ended up being a lot about nothing, this is another prime example of Roger Goodell's absolute power ruling absolutely. When the suspension first came down, as a Jet fan, I was like, all right, take him out for 4 games. But as a football purist, it really made no sense to me why the suspension was handed down. It made no sense to me why, if there was no issue with the balls, or if there was no prior knowledge with Tom Brady and having the balls deflated or whatever it may be, he shouldn't have had the 4-game suspension. But with all that,
I definitely agree. Like, the punishment was just incredibly too harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole discussion went from deflating footballs to, like, the powers of the commissioner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that Colts team would have lost if the Patriots were throwing out a frisbee. That's how much better that Patriots team was better than that Colts team. But I do agree, I guess side a little bit more with the commissioner, because even though Goodell has all this power, and which isn't fair, the players signed up for this, and they collectively bought an agreement. They gave Goodell all this power. So for the next agreement, they should take away some before deciding to buckle and give into the season, because they had a chance to have more power, but they gave it back so they can play games again.
I mean, I know that the whole issue with their CBA before, when there was like the semi-strike or however many preseason games I think they ended up missing, but I think when it boils down to is that although the players might have signed up for this, this is Goodell having too much power, and this is Goodell kind of having it out for Tom Brady, in my opinion, because he's got it out for Tom Brady.
Spygate and causing this whole fight that's lasted over a year. Yeah, he needed to get Brady, not just because it was Tom Brady, just so he can show that, hey, even if I give a suspension, it doesn't always get taken away or appealed to lesser games. So
it has to be.
He really needed this victory.
I said ever since the whole Ray Rice incident, him going after James Harrison left and right, those have been like the two of the biggest flops that the commissioner has had. So him going after Brady, I say it's almost a witch hunt. And I said right up here in Connecticut, you got nothing but free Brady shirts, but. Who's bust the free Brady shirts out. But I think that this is a lot about nothing. He's going to end up having to serve the 4-game suspension, which I think is stupid, because when it comes down to it, he didn't do anything wrong. And now he's getting... Well, I'm not going to say he didn't do anything wrong, because I'm always thinking Tom Brady's doing something wrong. But it was shown that the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Yeah, that's what I would put it as. So he did do something illegal, but I feel like 4 games is just too much.
Oh yeah, no, it's way too much. So.
And with like those first 4 games, he would have missed at Arizona, home games against Miami, Houston, and Buffalo. So I believe Arizona is a tough team, so they would probably lose that one without Brady. But then Miami, Houston, and Buffalo, I think, are kind of a toss-up, depending if Jimmy Garoppolo at least plays average, I think.
The thing about the Miami and Buffalo games is those are in division games. Anytime the division games, those are always tough. Of course, the Jets get Brady like 2 weeks after he comes back, which is just, I love it. I just love everything about that. But that's just how it's boiled down. And I think that with those, I think they'll lose one of those games to either Buffalo or Miami. I don't think they'll beat both teams. I think they'll split one of those. And I don't see them beating the Cardinals. But I think they'll come out of Brady's suspension 2-2, which looking at it isn't too bad. It really isn't.
It's not. And he comes back week 5 against Cleveland. So Cleveland gets
they got their championships. So
yeah,
they're gonna get beat. Brady's gonna come back and throw 6 touchdowns, but they got their championships.
Yeah.
Coming out of the NBA today, what they're really finally doing is tweaking the Hack-a-Shaq, Hack-a-Howard, Hack-a-DeAndre, Drummond, Hack-a-Iguodala, the Hack-a-Shaq foul. It's getting tweaked a little bit out of the NBA. Matthew, tell me a little bit about what they did up there.
Some of the rules that the NBA came out with today are: 1, foul players will now get 2 free throws and the ball on any away from the play foul in the final 2 minutes of each quarter. Another one was jumping on the back fouls. That ridiculous foul, famously seen by Chris Paul, jumping on the back of a bigger center, a foot taller, will be considered by referees as potentially flagrant. And lastly, for inbound situations, the defensive foul that occurs before the ball is released by the inbounder will be administered in the same fashion as an away from the play foul committed during the last 2 minutes of a period.
All right, well, that sounds a lot like a bunch of flagrant fouls to me without the title of being a flagrant foul.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, just because you're always going to get the ball back. The person who gets fouled is always going to get the ball back.
I think that they needed to do something because when coaches started fouling, like I said, DeAndre Jordan, Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
When they started doing those fouls in the middle of the game, it really did slow the game up. With that being said, I am a 110% backer of if you get fouled, make your free throws. So I have no problem with the strategy, although I know a lot of people don't like it because it slows the game up and it's terrible to sit there and watch a guy trying to struggle to make a free throw. But as a professional athlete, as a professional basketball player, you have to be able to hone your craft enough to be able to make free throws. I wholeheartedly believe that, and I think that they needed to do something with it. But I don't really have a feeling either way about the rules that they put, to be honest with you.
I mean, for the longest time, I guess I was more old school, and I had the same sentiment where just make your free throws. You're paid millions of dollars. You can just make it from the charity stripe. But after watching a few postseason series within these past couple of years, I know watching like Houston games and Clippers games with Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan, the NBA needed to at least slow it down to less Hack-a-Shaq because it ruined the game for me. I stopped watching games because the fourth quarter, like the final 5 minutes of a fourth quarter would last 20 minutes. So it was too much. And even though I wish these guys could just practice and make their free throws, the NBA is, even though it's a sports league, it's also an entertainment league, and no one's entertained by watching these guys clank off free throws all the time.
I think that when it boils down to it, one thing that's a good point that you make is the fact that it is a spectators league, and a lot of the revenue that comes into the league is based off the fact that people enjoy watching it and enjoy watching the games. But I think that, like, I don't know, if you're a professional, you got to be able to just hone your craft and hone your skills. I really am always going to believe that. With that being said, I can understand why the league would do something like this. Like I said, I'm neither against it or for it. I'm in the middle because, like I said, it does kind of slow the game down, and you don't want to watch, but at the same time, you need to be able to make your free throws. But I understand why the league did it because it was bad for business. It's that simple. It was
eyes. Like, no one wants to watch that. And I guess I am for all these new like punishments for teams who want to strategically foul other players because it's bad on the eyes. No one wants to watch it. So I'll change the channel. I'll stop watching basketball games because of it. And
you haven't been able to watch your Lakers for a couple years now anyway. So I said you haven't been able to watch your Lakers for a couple years now anyway.
Yeah. But what are the Knicks doing?
Well, we don't have Swaggy P. That's all I got.
That's the point. You win that. You win that every time.
But I think that, like I said, I can understand why the NBA did something like this. I feel like they couldn't make a decision like this in the middle of the season. So being able to implement this at the beginning of the year is going to be a big thing for them. But I don't know. like I said, big men have always been not so great at even shooting free throws. Even Shaq, the Hack-a-Shaq, that's the originator, the big Shamrock, the Diesel Superman, whatever you want to,
big Aristotle,
the big Aristotle, whatever you want to call Shaq. Even Shaq, at the end of the day, had to get to the point where he can hit at least one, because you don't got to hit both of them, but hit at least one. Make them pay a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that this kind of nips that in the bud a little bit, because players are going to say, hey, they're not going to foul me, so I don't got to worry about getting to the free throw line. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, but I understand why the organizations, or at least the NBA, why they did this. It makes sense.
I like it. Like the games will get. I mean, like the basketball's already a fast game, so the games are just going to get even more faster. Now it can be slowed up by these little problems and issues, and they're just little bumps in the very smooth game, and no one liked it. So I'm glad they got rid of it.
Rounding out the day today, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about the All-Star Game in Major League Baseball. The American League again wins 4-2 on home runs by Salvador Perez and Eric Hosmer of the Royals. Hosmer won the MVP award. A home run by Chris Bryant of the Cubs wasn't enough for the National League, although they were able to pull it kind of close there. They haven't won an All-Star Game since 2012. Melky Cabrera was the MVP of that one. That tells you how long that was. But Matthew, talk to me about the game. What do you think about it, and what are your thoughts on it?
It was just looking at the stats and watching some of the game. It was just a nice, clean game. A lot of stuff didn't happen. The score was 4-2. The last scoring was by the NL in the top of the fourth with a Mullins RBI single, and that was the final score of 4-2, rest of the way. It was nice seeing Will Myers, the hometown San Diego Padre, get an RBI double. But then I guess the biggest story of the night was seeing David Ortiz get the standing ovation from the San Diego faithful, who's been playing in his last season. So that was nice to see him playing his last All-Star game, getting the ovation from so many people.
Yeah, we talked about it before in our last episode, talking about the kind of impact Big Papi has had on not only Boston, but the game of baseball. So to see him get the kind of send-off that you like to see a lot of the greats get, the Derek Jeters, the Mariano Riveras, those kind of guys that are playing the Cal Ripken Juniors, that are getting their send-off in their last All-Star game. It was really nice to see. A thing that kind of really stuck out for me, outside of the fact that, you know, the Royals got old Terry Collins and the Mets again, the fact that no Mets played in the game. And that was something we drummed it up, we hyped it up. I wanted to see Bartolo.
He did. I didn't know he didn't play. I know the Mets played. And Syndergaard weren't playing because of injury, but I thought Bartolo would play.
No, that was the thing. No Mets were playing. I read an article that Terry Collins had said that he was saving Colon and Familia, I believe, for if the game went into extra innings. Which I believe only a few All-Star games have gone into extra innings.
I mean, I kind of get that certain players want to, like, managers and coaches want their players to get rested. It just stinks sometimes because, say, Colon and Familia, that could have been two other players' spots who've never been in an All-Star game and would have played. So I understand saving and resting, but I want to see players play. I
want to see Colon play too. I don't think that was his first All-Star game because I said he was such a dominant pitcher out in Cleveland. But it still would have been nice to see him out there on the mound, which will for what is almost guaranteed to be his last All-Star game, unless he wins the Cy Young, which with Bartolo Colon, who knows. But I don't know. I feel like it just left a weird feeling in my mouth. I'm not trying to speculate anything, but for the manager of the Mets to not play any of his players in an exhibition game, it just seemed a little weird. I don't know why. You're the manager. You're supposed to manage and play the people that are playing or that are on the team to play.
I mean, baseball players, I guess, like all athletes, are very just intricate and meticulous with every little detail. Yeah. And I guess even though it was only an inning and say it's only 12, 13 pitches, I guess he didn't want to push his his veteran pitcher any amount. So
yeah, I mean, I guess when you're the manager of the All-Star team and when you
can do that. I mean,
exactly.
He brought on Colon because he was a substitute or injury replacement. So
I mean,
he has that power.
I guess he does, and I said one thing that this All-Star weekend was pretty good. Giancarlo Stanton was just a monster in the home run derby. So gotta at least acknowledge that and talk about how crazy of a home run derby. He's just fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he's kind of getting out of his slump because for the longest time I knew he was hovering around like 190, 180, even below that. But it seems like going into the break, he ended up around 220. So maybe he's hitting himself out of it, which is good. He's a star. He's so strong. Like
he's so strong. He's like Hulk playing baseball.
like 19 of like the 20, or 17 of the 18 longest home runs that night was
Yeah.
his. So it's just
I
ridiculous.
said he had exactly. It was something crazy, and it was a sight to behold every time he hit the ball. You just saw it just flying into the San Diego evening.
Oh yeah.
So I think this all in all, this was a really good All Star couple of days. I won't say weekend, All Star couple of days. Baseball will be back later in the week.
Yeah,
And,
starting on Friday, I believe.
yeah, I believe so, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
As always, everyone, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's been kind of a long day. You know, I just got home from work. He's got to go to work. But thank you so much for watching the show. All the support that you guys have gotten over our first couple of videos has been great. Completely.
We really do appreciate all the views, and we're just glad that you guys are watching and get interested in watching us talk about sports.
Exactly what he said. And as I said, we love doing this. So it's really been a pleasure for us to give this to you and to get the kind of feedback that we've been getting. So again, continue to like and subscribe down here. Yep, down low. Okay. Thank you. Our GoFundMe page, as always, is going to be in the description below as well. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you on Friday.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one. Hump day.